Hi, I'm Amos.
Hi, I'm Zames.
We are co-founders of Repair.sg. We were passionate about fixing things. We like figuring out how certain things work.
I think it was always in us that we wanted to do something ourselves. When I realized I wanted to work on this, there was a lot of times I just couldn't bring myself to school. So I just always just met the minimum attendance requirements. I graduated at the bottom of my cohort GPA-wise. Finding the service providers was just cold calling people, and getting the demand in was just me taking an SEO course and just applying whatever I learned. Well, we're not making much money. We're making less than if we were to work outside. Our customers don't, at that point, didn't really appreciate us at all. So like, why are we even doing any of this? Never would, in the universe would have expected that this thing that we started back then would have been the thing that we're working on almost 10 years later. So last year we were close to 2 million. The goal this year is...
Okay, so firstly, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
And I think it's very rare for us to find like really young entrepreneurs who already have this kind of experience building businesses. You guys started really early, so hopefully today we can unpack more about your journey. Maybe you guys can first introduce yourself to the audience.
Hi everyone, I'm Zames. This is Amos. We are co-founders of Repair.sg. It's kind of like a handyman business, though we basically do things like service your air cons, fix your lights, or replace your taps when they're leaking.
And when I think about like businesses that young people will want to start, and you guys clearly started when you were really young. So maybe Amos, you can share with us like how did this idea of a repair and maintenance business like come about?
Okay, so it didn't really come to us as an idea for a business. It's more of we were passionate about fixing things. We like figuring out how certain things work. And whenever things broke in our house, we always wondered like, how does that work? And like we always believed like we could repair it. And like with some guidance from online tutorials on YouTube, we decided to just try some of it. So if anything, it wasn't really something we thought of as a business at the start, but it all worked out. It all worked out because sort of our passion for fixing things somehow managed to turn into a business. So we're very grateful for that.
And when you guys were growing up, right? I've seen many siblings, brothers, always like fought a lot when they were growing up and all. Like, were there at any point, or were there signs when you were growing up that one day you guys would be doing a business together?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, as you said, like brothers fight, it's like a given. But of course, I feel like from a very young age, we've always wanted to do something together. Because while we do fight, I mean, who doesn't? We always wanted to work towards something together. And because if there's someone that I would really trust with anything, it would be him. So I think it's been great. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're like any other brothers. We fight a lot, definitely. So since young, even until now, we still fight. But I would like to think that our fights are generally productive. So
yeah, it's more of like we're a combat of ideas to like figure out what we want to do best for just everything that we're building.
And when the idea first started, like which year was it roughly?
2016. So a little bit of backstory for 2016 is actually that while we've been doing this for 9 years, the first few years were more of just a hobby kind of deal. And I started this when I was waiting to enter Polytechnic because that's the 5 or 6 months after O-levels. And we had nothing to do. So this was just more of like something to explore, something to try. And we never would, in a million years, would have expected that this thing that we started back then would have been the thing that we're working on almost 10 years later.
And when you said that you guys started trying out, what was this like trying out? Were you trying to ask around friends whether you have things to fix and then try to fix it, or how did the start happen?
Okay, so first of all, while we always were interested in actively fixing things, we initially wanted this to be kind of like a marketplace because we saw the rise of like Uber, Grab, especially in those years, because like it was just everywhere, on-demand applications, marketplaces. So we wanted to be like that, but for the home services space. Though very quickly we learned that while we wanted a platform that really serviced customers with quality, like showed up on time, say what, do what, and like just charge a fair price, even though we can create a platform that promises that, it's very hard to find service providers that would then live up to that. And because we had an interest in doing this ourselves, we decided to just take it on ourselves and see where we can take this.
And how long did you guys try this platform model?
About a year, right?
About a year.
Yeah.
And how many service provider did you manage to like bring on board? What was like the experience?
Of course. So I think at the peak, we had 6 main service providers on board in the different verticals. So it could be appliance repair, it could be aircon, it could be electrical, it could be waterproofing. And I think the biggest issue is that fundamentally, we can't escape the fact that we were literal kids back then. And a lot of the people in this space are older, like than your average, let's say a tech industry. Maybe in that industry, it'll be younger. In the really blue collar space, a lot of people are older. So no matter how much we wanted to push an idea across, there's still always that barrier of like, they're still older than us, we still respect them. And if we push a bit too hard, then they would come back with like, I've been doing this for 30 years like this. I don't think it's fair for you to demand that I do things a certain way. So there's always that we're fighting against.
And was it hosted on a website? Who built that platform where you onboard
That's me.
various service?
So
You can code.
I can code a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's like really amazing. I think for a lot of people these days, if you have the ability to code, you can actually create a lot of stuff, right? Because you pretty much control like what's the output over here.
Absolutely.
And like you mentioned, for platform businesses like your Ubers, Airbnbs, all these were at the initial phase of their growth, kind of like cash guzzling, right?
Yes.
Because you have to build both sides of the platform, the supplier side as well as the consumer side. How much did you guys have to put in a way to invest this, to get this started, and how did you manage this?
We started with no money. We don't come from a lot of money, so just the only real expense was registering the website, the domain name. That was $30. The website itself we built ourselves. The finding the service providers was just cold calling people, and getting the demand in was just me taking an SEO course and just applying whatever I learned. So it was really, really low capital. It was completely bootstrapped, and I think that's how we've been operating. Okay, that is how we've been operating a business since day one, in the sense that we've always believed in building a business that is first profitable, and then using those profits to then double down on things that has worked.
You started with the platform model, and then after that, you decided to take it fully in-house and do it like it's a 1P model now.
Yeah.
So what was the journey in prepping to get to that stage?
I think you should talk about this. Yeah.
So honestly, it was pretty crazy lah. So I think to give a bit of context, we were really young. I think he was about 17, 18 at the time. I was about 15, 16. So the me personally, like it felt very weird because like what Zames said, the industry is generally a lot of people that are quite a lot more senior compared to us. So I think if anything, it was more of us. I think the main goal we try ahead is we're trying to figure out how to do the services ourselves, and then we were trying to basically hopefully get a team of people to come in and then fulfill those services based on what our intended sort of we wanted them to fulfill the services based on the quality in which we would like them to fulfill it at. But we realized that was very hard because jumping into the industry meant that we have to figure out a lot of things like manpower. We also needed office storage, vehicles as well. And those were things which were completely new to us. We didn't know anything about it. So I would say what we did at the start was we were fortunate to have some friends in the industry that really sort of helped us figure out how this works. And a lot of them, they're all very nice. They sort of see two little boys and then they're like, you know what, they seem very innocent. They look like they are very nice people. So a lot of our friends really helped us at the start. Some of them are still friends with us now, so that's pretty cool lah. And they basically taught us certain things, tricks of the trade as well. And on top of that, they also really taught us how they taught us how the industry was like, how to handle customers as well, which was really a challenge for us back then because I mean, both of us were. It was very hard to convince people that we're gonna they're gonna trust us with the responsibilities of making sure that we fix their house well lah. So, I think that was
And
yeah.
for these friends that you mentioned, like, how did you meet these friends? It sounds like they were a little bit older. Were they the friends that you made when you were building the platform?
No. So those people, I don't think they like us very much. But okay, but the newer people, a lot of them were just honestly just met, for example, on a job site, because maybe it's a renovation project, we're doing a small element of it, and then they're just there. And I think a lot of the reason as to why they were so happy to kind of just take us under their wing and like teach us about things is because a lot of them are like the older uncles. Like they may have children, but then the children are like not interested in anything that they do. So it's kind of like for them, it's having a son to some extent that they can teach their stuff and actually want to listen to what they say.
Yeah, I can imagine. And for the initial team that
Yes.
started going out servicing, like was it just the two of you, or what was the team size like?
Okay, so it was really a mess for about a year. Sometimes it's me, sometimes it's us. Sometimes we had a guy that we hired from that just exited another company, another role. So that was that guy as well. But it was just a mess. There was no fixed structure. There's no like a team of two, a team of one. It's just whoever had the time, whoever could do it, then is whoever we sent.
Yeah, I think also one thing to add is that back then, our schedules are not as packed as it is now.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
on some days we literally had no jobs.
Yeah.
We would just be in the office and then just hoping like jobs would come.
Yeah.
And then back then we also had that guy who was on our payroll as well that we were paying to basically just sit in the office lah. But I mean, of course, he was helpful. He did a lot of some of the stock keeping as well, and I think if anything, it wasn't very pretty at the start lah. We lost a bit of money also trying to sort of figure out how we're gonna get customers and how we gonna sort of brand ourselves and put ourselves out there lah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think a lot of for example, when we operated as a platform, it worked to a very small extent in the sense that it made us enough money to keep going and to save some money. But when we made the decision to drop that model completely, we had like this amount of savings and it was just us trying to figure out how to transition to doing it ourselves before we run out of money.
You mentioned that you pretty much started with $0.
Yeah.
You just registered the website and then you started the platform. This was in
16.
2016.
Yeah, 16.
And then the 1P model was 2017.
17, 18, around there.
And for this 1P model, then how much did you guys have to invest in to get it started? I'm assuming you probably need to own some tools, equipment, etc.
Yeah, so we didn't invest in the sense that we didn't like raise any money, we didn't take any loans. It was just money that we made from operating as a marketplace. I think at the point in which we decided to make the switch, we probably had 25K in our bank account from the marketplace model. And then from there, I guess that was kind of our starting capital for like the revamp of this whole business.
And how was the 25,000 spent?
Okay, so most of it was, I think the biggest expense was hiring that first guy. So it's because, there was no expense higher than that. The rest of it was just spent on, for example, ads, just to try to get more customers. And the rest of it, I mean, there were tools, there was a van, but the van was a rental, and van prices were a lot cheaper back then. And tools are also not expensive. So if you get into like the bigger tools, could be thousands of dollars each, but all we really needed to do the kind of work that we had at that time was like a screwdriver, a wrench or something like that, which is $50, $100. So it wasn't a big thing, tools.
So initially when you guys started moving it and taking it on yourself, what were the most common jobs that you were acquired?
Lights. So I think lights was the biggest at the site. Still is the biggest now, right?
It's still
yeah.
it's
So
the biggest,
we are very much just a handyman business in the sense that we just do the small stuff. So it could be your lights, could be your taps, a doorknob, for example. Those were the common things at the start.
And lights does it include like the more invasive rewiring, or it's just
No. Literally just my lights here broken, or maybe they bought one from IKEA, they want to replace it. Just something simple like that. Nothing too major.
I see. And since you guys started this 1P model in the first 2 to 3 years, could you share like what was the the growth in terms of like the business. You could tell us like the revenue in the first few years. How did that
Do you think you
progress?
should do this or this?
You should do this.
Okay,
You should do this. It was very slow, lah, basically.
it was awful. So 9 years, right? So one to 2 years as a marketplace. So that leaves us with 7 more years. In the 7 years, the first 5 years were very, very slow in the sense that revenues the first year was probably in, let's just say, monthly 10 to 15, around there. And after deducting all of our costs at the end of the first year as a service provider ourselves, it was basically nothing left. In the 4 years after that, to make up the first 5 years, we probably only grew another 100%. And which is why I think at some point, probably near the 5-year mark, we were quite discouraged and honestly wanted to take a step back from this whole industry, because we never expected to be in this industry to begin with. We just kind of had something going and just decided to just take it and just try to run it. So revenues at the end of the first 5 years were probably, let's just say, 30, 40K a month, about that. And that makes up like the first 5 years of business.
And then sounds like after the 5th year,
Yeah.
you guys saw some light.
Yes, yes.
From what you are describing.
Yes.
Like, what was that jump that you guys said? And this would have been 2023.
23, yes. 23.
I think closer
23.
end of 2022.
Yeah,
End of 2022. So about 2+ years ago, we definitely focused on certain other things that the first 5 years we didn't really focus on. Like we always had an emphasis on making sure that the customers were happy, but I think we didn't do it in a way which was smart, that sort of retains them better. So I think a lot of things that we really worked on was branding. So Zames did a lot of work for the branding. In fact, that's how our company, the color of our company is yellow now. It previously used to be gray, like this kind of gray. So it's like really dull, like nobody would really spot us. And now our vans are yellow because this genius right here decided that yellow is the best color that everybody would see. So that was a major thing that I believe definitely helped us. Some other things that we did also is operationally, we made a lot of changes as well. We really sort of spent, in fact, a couple of days of just not operating and then just doing an overhaul, gathering all the guys and making sure that we know what the company stands for, the service standards and the quality of the work, and then basically just a commitment in delivering the best experience possible. And it's still what we're trying to do till this day. I'm pretty sure that we still have a lot of room for improvement in that aspect. So I think those two were sort of the two main things that really helped us sort of propel a bit better than what we were before.
Yeah, but to take a step back, look at the even bigger picture, the biggest thing I think that made the switch from us being wherever we were to where we are now is we made an active decision to step back from the actual day-to-day. And because a lot of our revenue at the end of the 5th year was very much due to the fact that we were willing to just go out every single day, 6 days a week, morning to night, and just really serve the customers ourselves. But then we decided that we had to take a step back and stop being an employee of our own business and really start thinking about this as a business owner. Like, because if we realize that if we can't take a step back, then we're just kind of just slaves to our own business, and in that sense, we're just employees of something that we created, but then we can't get out of it, and we have all these massive liabilities and responsibilities. So the biggest thing we did was take a step back, started working on the business itself, in the business, and having standard SOPs for everything, proper systems, things people can follow, and create repeatable experiences that customers were happy with. So that really changed a lot.
And I think most audience would be in their mind now thinking, okay, sounded like a real huge growth over this period. Like, if you could share with us over the last 3 years, what was like the revenue
Sure. So
growth and the trajectory that you guys were on?
Sure. So we ended, let's say 3 years ago at about maybe 400,000 a year, around there. So last year we were close to 2 million, and I think we're on track to hope. Okay, no, we're not Okay, we are on track, but the goal this year is to double that.
Okay. So that would be.
Let's say 4? 4?
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's put it out there. We'll come back and check it.
Yeah.
But now again
Yeah.
for the journey that you guys had, and then from that 400,000 to you hit the 4 million. That is a 10x growth over a period of like 2 years, and I'm sure the internal operations, you definitely have done a lot of work to make sure you could cope with the growth. But with this growth, it also means that you managed to successfully acquire and service a lot more customer. And so, what was the customer profile that you guys see the greatest growth? Because I see on your website you service both the retail customer as well as like B2B.
So I think customer breakdown. What is
So generally for us, we used to do mostly residential because generally those were the easiest, I would say. Less pressure as well. Still some pressure, but not as much. But I would say we do have a huge growth in our commercial customers. So we serve a lot more commercial customers than we did before. So for example, Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf, our friends at Zenith Education, also shout out to Zenith, a few F&B outlets and offices as well. Many offices maintaining their lights, their pantries, etc. So I would say I would say it's a split 50-50, 50 residential, 50 commercial. But if anything, we try our best to serve everyone as much as possible, because we think that we have the ability to at least help everyone in Singapore to fix something. At least that's what we think we are able to. So yeah.
I think your 50-50, do you refer to like
revenue, right?
the revenue, or is it like
Not the number.
I would say the revenue. Yeah,
the
revenue.
revenue.
Not the number.
But it fluctuates a lot. So for example, I think the 50-50 would apply more to December.
Yeah.
Like this month is probably a bit more skewed towards the residential side. But yeah, it's up and down.
And for this type of B2C and B2B client, what is the average ticket size that you service? And am I right to also assume that the B2B, it's more on a retainer basis, while consumer are more ad hoc?
Yeah, so
Yes.
the ticket size is, I think the average is 170, 180.
About that.
And
yeah.
then the retainer, how are they? Like commercial?
So okay, 160, 170 is for residential. Commercial we do on a ad hoc basis as well, but some certain retainers we do as well. We do have monthly contracts with schools, different businesses where if let's say they have a bigger property, we do preventive maintenance checks as well for electrical, plumbing, handyman works. We basically find things that are broken, report it to the company, and then based on that they can decide whether they want to fix it or not. And in a lot of cases, usually if a company would engage our service for that, most of the time they're in the business of making sure that everything in their office, everything in their property is nice. So those are that's one of the bigger retainer that bigger retainer I would say models that we use. And some other ones we do a lot of aircon servicing contracts as well with a lot of businesses, homes as well, of course, but businesses as well. And other than that, are there any other ones that we do?
No, I think that pretty much covers it.
Yeah,
and to go back to your question on the customer profile, I think the average is, I think 30s to 40s, young family, new home, something like that.
But everyone's welcome.
Yeah, everyone's welcome.
For this B2B part, right, for most of the businesses out there,
Yes.
I think they would love to. The retainer model would probably be something that's more stable
Yes.
for the business perspective,
Yes.
right? Was this something that you guys intentionally went in right from the start, or how did you guys make the decision to pursue that?
So I wouldn't say we made an active decision to do that. It's more of the opportunity appeared for us to do something like that. I think our first retainer contract did not come from us actively going out seeking one, but more of an existing company coming to us and saying, we have this contract with this other party, we don't like them, can you just do this for us? So that opened our eyes to like this whole different model, and because it worked well, we decided to replicate it elsewhere.
I see. So when you guys move into that, the acquisition process for B2C and B2B must be different. So how do you guys go acquire the two groups of customers that you guys service?
Sure. B2C mostly just online. Could be Google Ads, could be SEO, a little bit of social media.
Do you run the ads yourself?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Though I feel like I could probably get someone to do it a lot better than I can. But for B2B, it's more of friends right now. I think that the beauty of what the space that we're in is that everybody, as long as they work in a place or live in a place, they eventually need our service. So I believe in just making sure that fundamentally we are good value. And I think that if we are of good value and we are known by people, eventually they would give us a shot. So we don't actively go out there and like prospect or like hard sell anyone. It's just more of, if I were to go out and talk to people, just more of I want to be a friend, because I love speaking with business owners, I think, which is why I would really enjoy speaking with you too. And it's just, if I can make more friends in this space and I can support my friends through the value that I can give them, I think it's win-win for everyone.
The business that you guys are in, as I also like reflect, and I try to ask myself, is there any brand or company that I could think of that stand for this? I actually couldn't really come up with a name, and I was just comparing, because for most of the other consumer product, like your soap, your food, it's always associated with like a brand name.
Correct. Yeah.
Do you see that? Do you find that people would see this as more like a commodity type of services? And
yes.
What do you guys do to then try to stand out even more?
I think on two fronts, right? So number one, it's a lot of education. As you said, I think that a lot of people think of this as a commodity. For example, your aircon servicing. I don't know about you, but the most people that I meet, if I say, what do you think about aircon servicing? They'll just be like, I find the lowest price, because it's just aircon servicing. Isn't it all the same? But the reality of the matter is that if you get someone that's cheap, that doesn't actually do a good job for you, you might be saving the $5-10 per unit on a service, but then you're just signing yourself up for like $1,000 bill like many years sooner. So there's a lot of education there in explaining that the cheapest price doesn't always mean the most value. And on the second front, it's also a lot of just being present as a brand. I don't think that there's a lot of ways that we can really make someone choose our service other than just trying to present ourselves as a good service that they can give a shot. And we also work a lot on our reviews, which has helped a lot on just getting people to have that initial trust without us having to go out there and be like, you should trust us because we're great. Because I think the words of our customers speak a lot louder than our own words. Yeah.
And I think the Repair.sg name definitely
it helps a lot. It
yeah.
helps a lot. Yeah.
And it's so easy to understand. I can first off, you see the bright yellow, and then you see the name. You kind of know what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
Now you've run this for several years now. What is the craziest fix that you guys were asked to do?
You should do this.
Craziest fix. Let me think. Crazy in what sense? Like crazy as in
any sense. Like you go in and
okay.
No.
Fun. The most fun one was working inside Universal Studios.
Oh yeah.
So they
were
were setting up a market for Christmas. Was it a Christmas market?
Yes.
A Christmas market. I think this was a year or 2 years ago. It was so fun to be like, we literally drove our van into Universal Studios, like literally inside, like where the
Sesame Street.
The Sesame Street, yeah. Then we just
and then we took some pictures.
Yeah, we worked there for like the whole day.
You should share that.
We'll try to find a picture.
Yeah, we should
That was
try.
a good profile.
Yeah, so that was the most fun, I think, because I mean, it's Universal Studios. Like you got transported in a whole different world. Crazy stuff. Let's see.
Any that you go in and it's like, oh no.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, all the time, all the time.
Oh,
yeah.
Whenever. Okay, so when some customers, sometimes their toilet bowl really stinks, and they'll usually ask us like why it stinks. So The thing is that generally those jobs are the ones which I look forward the least, because most of the time the reason why there's a smell is because the pipe that's connecting the toilet bowl to the floor is broken. So usually in most cases what we have to do is we have to fix that pipe, and in order to do that we have to remove the toilet bowl, fix the pipe, and then reinstall the toilet bowl.
Yeah.
So in most cases, whenever we take on those jobs, whenever we remove the toilet bowl, there's a bunch of feces just lying on the floor everywhere. And of course, we need to be the ones who cleaned it up. So those are the jobs which I wouldn't say it's crazy, but like it's one of the more interesting ones that
Yeah.
that I think sometimes it's. I mean, I'm used to it already, but it's just at the start definitely it was very it was kind of scary, not gonna lie.
The first time you see this, you're like,
Yeah.
No.
there's no education on
Yes.
how you deal with this, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
when you see it, what was, how did you feel? That is it like, okay,
Yeah.
let's just go do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, it isn't about handling it. It's more of the smell usually that's very bad, so usually we'll wear masks, but even sometimes with masks, you still smell a lot of it. You breathe a lot of it in, and it's not fun,
Yeah.
it's not
It's not
fun.
fun. It's not
People
fun.
always see the glamorous part of entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Everyone will have this type of shitty.
Yeah.
Literal.
Literally, yeah.
So when you guys now run this business,
Uh-huh.
aside from then getting the customers coming on board,
Mhm.
managing the day-to-day operations and dealing with the after-sales customer service, etc. And just in general, what is the hardest part of running this repair and maintenance business?
Oh wow.
The pressure of taking care of everyone.
Yeah.
Because I think that as a business, we can give value to everyone. All the stakeholders could be our customers, could be our employees, and as a business, we just have to keep doing that in order for us to keep sustaining as one. So as we grow and take on even more challenges, more employees, more customers, it just means that we are playing a more high pressure game to deliver value to everyone within this ecosystem that we create. And as we grow, it just gets harder and harder because there's no escaping the fact that the only way to grow is to deliver more value. And the only way to deliver more value is to be more valuable. So that's the hardest part of everything.
And also operationally, to us it's a big challenge because at the start it was a really big challenge because me and Zames, we would have certain things as to how we want to deliver the service that we feel like we only can really do it. And in a sense, we trust ourselves with the vision of the company. And that was something which was, it was hard after we got like more people to come in, and service standards were something which is a big deal for us. So ensuring that not just us but the rest of the team can also deliver on that is something which took us a while to sort of learn as well, and to make sure that everybody really understands that the company is trying to provide as much value as possible to the customers and try to make as many customers happy as possible. So I think it's like what Zames said, as the company gets bigger, when there's more people, we need to help everybody understand that, and that is sometimes it's a task which takes time, and I think that's the thing on a day-to-day basis. Sometimes when there are certain cases where customers are not entirely satisfied, and those are the cases which we always really take a very good look at and try to see where did we fall short of and how we can do better next time. And then this is, in fact, every Saturday in the morning we have a breakfast session with the whole team, and it's a session where we talk about the good things that happen throughout the week, and also the things which we need to work on. And then that's sort of how we do it, because in the past we didn't really do things like that. So it was just based on a lot of the judgment of the people in the company, and that sort of caused a lot of issues to happen as well, where different people have different opinions on how certain things should be handled. Maybe because of experiences in their previous company, or because of just their judgment. So I think if anything, that's pretty hard, I would say. Yeah.
You guys sound like you have gone through a lot of your own personal development also as you're building this
Definitely,
company.
yeah.
If I could, take you back again before you guys even started this,
Yeah.
like, what were you guys doing? What were you studying? What's your background?
I'm studying for my O levels. I just completed it. I wasn't even in poly then, so I wasn't really even studying. I was studying the same as everyone else. I mean, we've always wanted to start businesses lah. Like since we were a kid, we've never really started anything proper, but I think it was always in us that we wanted to do something ourselves.
And then when you went to poly, what were you?
I studied business.
Business. Okay.
And yeah, you.
I
also
studied marketing, which is business as
Yeah.
well. Yeah.
I see. So when in that phase,
Yes.
when you guys were building the businesses,
Uh-huh.
your peers must still be like mostly student life, right? Was there a difference in terms of like the lifestyle? Any challenges that you guys faced during that period?
I think it's very different for both of us.
Yeah, it's
So
very
I
different
think-
from
I
both
think-
of us.
yeah.
I mean, for me, it's just, I think, okay, I went to SP, Singapore Polytechnic. They're a great school, but I think when I realized I wanted to work on this, there was a lot of times I just couldn't bring myself to school. So I just always just met the minimum attendance requirements. I graduated at the bottom of my cohort GPA wise, and yeah, there was definitely a very big difference. I think a lot of my friends from back then, some of them I still talk to, they're really great, amazing people, but we definitely took a different path in the sense that I definitely missed out on a lot of things that they enjoyed back then. Like as soon as class ended, I would run straight back to go work on this. They would always sometimes ask me to like go hang out, and I would always say no. I feel like probably pissed a few people off by always saying no. But I think it's quite different for you, right?
Yeah, so I think growing up I was always the more playful one. So I think I had a bit more of a life than he did lah. So I went to Temasek Polytechnic. I still have a lot of friends from there, but definitely there was a lot of differences between how I live my life compared to my friends lah. And the thing which I'm also very thankful for is that I have a lot of friends from secondary school as well as Polytechnic, which I guess you would consider them like low maintenance friends, where we don't really hang out much, we don't really talk. I think if anything, we are just rooting for all of us to succeed lah. So even a few of my friends, they have gone on to do their own thing as well. Some of them are working, some of them are trying to start their own businesses as well. So I think that's very cool. Back when I was in school, I was a bowler, so I bowled for my school team, and I have a lot of friends that I still occasionally bowl once in a while with. So yeah, I think that's about it lah. Yeah.
But I also spoke to quite a few entrepreneurs for the show and out of the show. It's always interesting where at the initial phase of building the business, there's always like this divide between the life that they may want versus what kind of sacrifice they have to do to get certain things.
Okay, but to be fair, I wanted this. Like I enjoyed it.
Yeah. And now I think you're seeing the fruits of your labor after like the years. We mentioned a lot about the growth and all the successes that you guys have, right? Could each of you share like what was your lowest point of your entrepreneurship journey?
Lowest point, I mean, as mentioned, there was a very big period that we wanted to give up. Just for three main reasons. Number one is we kind of lost the passion for this space, not because we didn't enjoy doing the fundamental act of fixing things, but more of because we just felt very discouraged with how customers were seeing us and treating us as kind of like a commodity and just wanting the lowest price. So that really discouraged us a lot. And because of those reasons and a few other things, it got to a point where we were like, well, we're not making much money. We're making less than if we were to work outside. Our customers at that point didn't really appreciate us at all. So like, why are we even doing any of this? So I think those were the lowest probably 6 months of this whole thing. We were not making much money as a company and basically no money personally. and there was no joy anymore in everything that we did. But I think the great thing about this whole thing for me is that I always have him. So like, if things are bad for me, I can always go to him, and I like to think that he can do the same. So having him, or I guess just anyone as a support, is what helped me get out of the low points. Change. Okay, so the biggest thing that changed, like that, I think got me out the lowest point, was the realization that I still enjoy doing this. Like, this is still my passion, and my alternative of like going back working a job, having the thought of that just makes me feel so uncomfortable that even though it was hard to keep going, I realized that the only way for me to see better days in the way that I wanted to is really to just keep pushing on. And I think he also did a lot of supporting in that sense, because I might just show up some days and just be like, oh, I don't really want to do this, I might not get much done, and he really just carried the workload lah whenever things were not, I was not as productive lah.
I'll slap him. No, I
Literally.
no, not literally. Okay, but I think if anything, there was a pretty dark period for us, I would say. And there were some days where we just had very late nights just talking to one another, trying to really think about what we want to do, because when we were young, we always wanted to do this. And I think the thing that sort of kept us going, I would say there's two main things. The first thing is that we were fortunate to have started very young. So because of that, I think it gave us a bit more room to fail, to experiment, to try different things for the company. And I think that sort of bought us a bit more time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the second thing was really the fact that we knew that we wanted to make it work, because it'll really be a shame if we just give it all up. So there were many times where we wanted to give up, but the thought of giving up does not supersede our will to really push on and succeed. So I think that was sort of the thing that really just kept us going.
Yeah. And the great customers, like some customers, a lot of customers in those days did see us as just any other people.
Yeah.
But there were some customers that were just working with them just makes me feel refreshed. So those help a lot.
Yeah, and some customers, because of the fact that we were young, they always tell us like, you have to keep going. Like you are the future of the industry. They always like to say that a lot. I think they are being very kind about what they say, but I think if anything, a lot of the customers really kept us going, because in a sense they saw something in us which maybe we sort of lost sight with. We were not able to see how this can work over the long run, but some customers just did. I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of our customers have the wisdom to look at us and see that maybe we have something that others might not have. So that's something we are very thankful for.
And shout out to those customers.
Shout out to those customers, yes.
You guys will flash some of the logos there. We mentioned about your short-term goal of hitting that 4 million revenue this year. If we project it out a bit further, what are your goals and aspirations for Repair.sg?
We wanna be the one company you call to take care of your property. That's, I think, the mission statement. Numbers wise, I don't know. I don't think we have a numerical goal. Yeah. It's just we think we're serving a real need, especially with the kind of feedback we've been getting the last 1-2 years. So we just, considering we do enjoy serving that need, we just want to take this as far as we can.
He said it well already, so I don't want to screw it up.
And you started your journey at an age where I think most people probably have not entered that stage yet. But now I think with a lot of different content online, I believe the younger generation, maybe now it's Gen Alpha, or I don't know what is that alphabet, I think many of them will be thinking, but a lot of times I think they probably are still trying to figure out, right? So if you were to give advice to this group of people, maybe in their 15, 16, who are toying with the idea of starting a business? What is like one or two advice that you think they should know before they do anything?
Okay, I think we each have probably different ones, but okay, I wouldn't want to give a general advice to any random person, but if I were to be able to speak to my 15-year-old self, what I'd definitely say is that if you want to start a business, the most important thing is delivering value to your customer. Because I feel like when I was at that age, I spent way too much time thinking about, for example, how the logo looked, or how the website is designed, or like all the things that don't really matter. Because fundamentally, if you service a customer and give them value, more value than you're asking in return, then that's what makes a business work. That's what makes a happy customer. And if you want to start a business, if as my 15-year-old self, he should have just focused on just the parts that deliver value. And because if I needed a product or service, I would not go to the person that has the nicest logo. I would go to the person that I feel could deliver me the most value. And that's all that really matters at the start of a business. Yeah.
I'll say for me, believe in yourself. And if anything, just get out there and do it.
Yeah.
Don't think so much.
Yeah.
You learn the best from your experiences, and just speaking to people, understanding what you want to do as a person, and just really just doing it. Just if you don't understand something, just go out there and find out find out for yourself.
Yeah. And it's taken us 9 years now, so I'm pretty sure a lot of people can do a lot better than us.
Yeah, I don't think we're the best people to give advice to anyone really, but I think in general, the biggest takeaway that I have over the many years that I still remind myself to today is to always just really just do it. Really just do it. If you have a thought and it's gonna just be a thought for the rest of your life, then you're just gonna die with possibly $1 million ideas. And I think if anything, just get out there and do it. You don't know what works in the real world, and the only way to find out is to actually just see whether it actually works. So I think if anything, just go out there and just really do everything possible. Yeah.
And if you guys have any question, you can leave a comment on their IG, so maybe they will reply you on that.
Yeah.
And thanks for sharing, what you guys feel on that particular, reflecting on your journey. I think the next question I would actually like to ask, and it's something that I'm starting to ask more entrepreneurs, and I get like very interesting answer. Would you guys ever consider selling your business?
Not at the moment. Not at the moment. We don't have any intention to. We think there's still a long way for us, but yeah.
I think we have not thought about it. There's no plan, there's no exit strategy. Right now, what we are trying to first figure out is how far we can take this, because personally, we feel like there's still a lot left in us as the operators of the business to grow this business too. So, but maybe if someday we reach a point where we feel like we've reached the maximum of our capabilities, we might look into that. But there's nothing at this current stage that we're thinking of.
Okay. I think we've come to the end of the show. I think thank you very much for sharing all your experiences and being so open with, especially like numbers and stuff. I know sometimes it's a bit tricky, but I believe like the audience will get a lot out of it.
Yeah.
And with that note, just give me a second.
Okay.
You guys mentioned that you are targeting to hit 4 million by the end of the year.
Is that $4 million?
Ta-da! So if you guys ever hit 4 million,
Nice. Gotta show the
Yeah,
camera.
show the camera.
Yeah, little something.
Yes.
Just a little token
Thank
for
you so much.
agreeing to do
Thank you
this.
so
But
much. Thank you so
if you do
Yes, thank you so much.
We're gonna have to invite you to the party.
hit the 4 million,
Yes.
invite me to the party, and then I hope you guys.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much.
Really
Thank you so much. I appreciate
Okay,
it.
so if we don't reach it this year, we'll just keep it
Keep
close
it.
until we reach 4 million.
Yeah, and then tell people that you're aging the
Yeah.
champagne.
Drink the champagne.
Thank you so
But
much.
I hope you guys will pop it this year.
Of course,
Thank
of
you.
course.
Okay.
I hope so.